Let's take a look at exercise 2.5 taken from the Cambridge textbook, upper and lower bounds. Let's look at question 1. The numbers are expressed to the nearest whole number. So I'm going to take 1 and I'm going to divide it by 2. That will give me 0.5. So in order to find the upper and lower bounds, I'm going to plus and minus 0.5 respectively. Let's look at question 1a, 6. So to find the upper bound, I'm going to take 6 plus 0.5, which would give me 6.5. And in order to find the lower bound, I'm going to take 6 minus 0.5, which would give me 5.5. Now, using x as the number, I'm going to express the range in which the number lies as an inequality. So, x will be more than or equivalent to 5.5 and less than 6.5. Why is it less than instead of less than or equivalent? This is because when you take 6.5 and round it off to the nearest whole number, you underline 6, you look at 5. 5 is more than or equivalent to 5, so you have to add 1 to 6. You will get 7 instead of 6. Therefore, you use less than instead of less than or equivalent. Look at question B. 83. So to calculate the upper bound, I'm going to plus 0.5. That would give me 83.5. To get the lower bound, I'm going to minus 0.5, which would give me 82.5. Now to express it as a range, it will be more than or equivalent to 82.5 and less than 83.5. Let's look at question C, 152. So 152 plus 0.5 will give me 152.5, which is the upper bound. And to find the lower bound, I'm going to minus 0.5, which would give me 151.5. X is more than or equal to 151.5 and it is less than 152.5. Let's look at question D. 1,000. So to find the upper bound, I'm going to plus 0.5, which would give me 1,000.5. And to get the lower bound, I'm going to minus 0.5, which would give me 999.5. Now to express this as a range, it is more than or equivalent to 999.5 and it is less than 1000.5. Let's look at question E. 100. So I'm going to plus 0.5 to find the upper bound, which would give me 100.5. To find the lower bound, I'm going to minus 0.5, which would give me 99.5. Now to express it as a range, x is more than or equivalent to 99.5 and it is less than 100.5. Let's look at question 2. The numbers are correct to 1 decimal place. So I'm going to take 0.1 and divide it by 2, which would give me 0.05. In order to find the upper and lower bounds, I'm going to plus and minus 0.05 respectively. Let's look at question 2a. 3.8. I'm going to plus 0.05 to find the upper bound, which would give me 3.85. And I'm going to minus 0.05 to find the lower bound, which would give me 3.75. So to express the range in which this number lies, x is more than or equivalent to 3.75 and it is less than 3.85. Let's look at question B. 15.6 plus 0.05 to find the upper bound, which would give me 15.65 and minus 0.05 to get the lower bound, which would give me 15.55. Now to express the range in which the number lies, it will be more than or equivalent to 15.55 and less than 15.65. Now let's look at C. (1.0) plus 0.05 to find the upper bound, and 1.0 minus 0.05 to find the lower bound. Now to express it, the range in which the number lies, it is more than or equivalent to 0.95 and less than 1.05. Let's look at question D. 10.0 plus 0.05 to find the upper bound, and minus 0.05 to get the lower bound. To find the range, it will be more than or equivalent to 9.95 and less than 10.05. Let's look at question E. 0.3 plus 0.05 to find the upper bound, 0.3 minus 0.05 to get the lower bound. Now to express the range in which the number lies, it would be more than or equivalent to 0.25 and less than 0.35. Let's look at question 3. The numbers are correct to two significant figures. Let's look at question 3a. 4.2. This is your first significant figure, and this is your second significant figure, which is in the place of tens. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 0.1, I'm going to divide it by 2, which would give me 0.05. And in order to find the upper and lower bounds, I'm going to plus and minus 0.05 respectively. Okay, so the upper bound would be 4.2 plus 0.05, which would give me 4.25, and the lower bound would be 4.2 minus 0.05, which would give me 4.15. Now, to express the range in which this number lies, x would be more than or equivalent to 4.15 and less than 4.25. Let's look at question B. 0.84. So this is your first significant figure and this is your second significant figure. It is at the hundredths place. So I'm going to take 0.01 and divide it by 2, which would give me 0.005. I will plus and minus 0.005 to get the upper and lower bounds respectively. Okay, so the upper bound would be 0.84 plus 0.005, which would give me 0.845, and the lower bound would be 0.84 minus 0.005, which would give me 0.835. Now to express the range, x would be more than or equivalent to 0.835 and less than 0.845. Let's look at question C. 420. This is the first significant figure and this is the second significant figure. It is at the place of tens. So I'm going to take 10, I'm going to divide it by 2, which would give me 5. So I'm going to plus and minus 5 to get the upper and lower bounds respectively. The upper bound would be 420 plus 5, which would give me 425. And the lower bound would be 420 minus 5, which would give me 415. Now to express the range in which the number lies, x would be more than or equivalent to 415 and less than 425. Let's look at question D. 5,000. This is your first significant figure and this is your second significant figure. So it is in the place of hundreds. So I'm going to take 100. I'm going to divide it by 2, which would give me. So to find the upper bound, I'm going to take 5,000 plus 50, which would give me 5,050. And to find the lower bound, I'm going to take 5,000 minus 50, which would give me 4,950. Now to express the range in which the number lies, x would be more than or equivalent to 4,950 and less than 5,050. Let's look at question E. 0.045. This is the first significant figure and this is the second significant figure. This is in the thousandths place. So I'm going to take 0.001. I'm going to divide it by 2, which will give me 0.0005. To find the upper bound, I'm going to take 0.045 plus 0.0005, which would give me 0.0455. And to find the lower bound, I'm going to take 0.045 minus 0.0005, which would give me 0.0445. Now to express the range in which this number lies, x would be more than or equivalent to 0.0445 and less than 0.0455. Let's look at question F. 25,000. This is the first significant figure and this is the second significant figure. This is in the thousands place. I'm going to take 1,000. I'm going to divide it by 2, which would give me 500. So to find the upper bound, I'm going to take 25,000 plus with 500, which would give me 25,500. And to find the lower bound, I'm going to take 25,000 minus 500, which would give me 24,500. Now to express the range in which this number lies, x would be more than or equivalent to 24,500 and less than 25,500. Let's look at question 4. 5.4. This is correct to 1 decimal place. So I'm going to take 0.1 divided by 2, which would give me 0.05. So I'm going to plus and minus 0.05 to find the upper and lower bounds respectively. So to find the upper bound, I'm going to plus 0.05, which would give me 5.45 kilogram. And to find the lower bound, I'm going to take 5.4 minus 0.05, which would give me 5.35 kilogram. Now let's illustrate the upper and lower bounds on a number line. So this would be 5.4. This would be 5.35 and this would be 5.45. So x is more than or equivalent to 5.35. So I'm going to color that. But it is less than 5.45. So I'm just going to draw a circle and I'm not going to shade it. That's it. Now let's look at question B. Let's express the range. So M is more than or equivalent to 5.35 kilogram and less than 5.45 kilogram. Let's look at question 5. 11.8 seconds. It is correct to one decimal place. So I'm going to take 0.1 divided by 2. That will give me 0.05. I'm going to plus and minus 0.05 to find the upper and lower bounds respectively. So the upper bound would be 11.8 plus 0.05, which would give me 11.85 seconds. And the lower bound would be 11.8 minus 0.05, which would give me 11.75 seconds. Now to express this on a number line, this would be 11.8, 11.785 would be here, and 11.75 would be here. T is more than or equivalent to 11.75, so I'm going to shade that. And T is less than 11.85, so I'm not going to shade that. I'm just going to draw a circle around it. This would be the number line. Let's look at question B. Express the range in which the number lies. So I'm going to take T is more than or equivalent to 11.75 seconds and less than 11.85 seconds. Question 6. 620 meter cube is correct to two significant figures. This is my first significant figure. This is my second significant figure. It is indeed tens place. So I'm going to take 10 and I'm going to divide it by 2. And that will give me 5. I'm going to plus and minus 5 in order to get the upper and lower bounds respectively. To find the upper bound, I'm going to take 620 plus 5, and that would give me 625 meter cube. To find the lower bound, I'm going to take 620 minus 5, which would give me 615 meter cube. Now to express the range, X is more than or equivalent to 615 meter cube and less than 625 meter cube. Question 7. The measurements are recorded to the nearest 10 meter. So I'm going to take 10 divided by 2. That will give me 5. I will plus and minus 5 to get the upper and lower bounds respectively. Let's look at question 8. The length is 630 meter. To find the upper bound, I'm going to take 630 plus 5, which would give me 635 meter. The lower bound is 630 minus 5, which is 625 meter. Now to express the range of the width, you first have to find the upper and lower bound. The width is 400 meter. The upper bound would be 400 plus 5. The lower bound is 400 minus 5, which is 395 meter. Now to express the range, W would be more than or equivalent to 395 meter, less than 405 meter.